All right, welcome everybody to Cinema Royale. I am Travis Hobson of Punch Drunk Critics. It's been a while since we've done this. I haven't talked to Chris on this show since July when we talked about
Thought you were avoiding me, frankly.
Deadpool Wolverine. It's been a while. So it's good to have Chris
Yeah.
Bumbray back. And we're going to be talking about The Substance. Now, this movie, I was hearing wild things about this film long
Where to begin?
before
Where to
I
begin? Where
know.
to begin?
Before I had a chance to even see it, I heard so much about it already. You saw it before me, and that's where I started hearing crazy shit about it. I was still not prepared for when I went to see it in myself, and I mean, we'll get into my thoughts on it. But Chris, you saw it ahead of me. What are your thoughts about The Substance, which stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, God, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid? Talk to me about The Substance, man.
So I saw it in Montreal. I I I saw it in Montreal at a pre-screening for TIFF, right? Like a while before it was going to show there. So I saw it like a month ago,
Yeah,
and it was at a press screening. And usually the press screenings are very quiet in Montreal. Like not much happens, right? Pretty conservative audience,
yeah.
but it was raucous. People were going nuts because it started getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And by that last half hour, people were like going nuts, right? And it was I had no idea what to expect. I don't know. For some reason, I thought, because the director's French, it would be like arty or something like that. I never saw Revenge, which apparently is great too. Coralie
I
Fargeat.
did like for
And I was kind of,
I did like Revenge,
yeah,
2017
yeah.
Revenge.
So I was kind of,
Revenge is through.
I don't know, but
Lutz, right? Matilda Lutz,
yeah,
if I remember right, is the lead character. It's actually really good, feminist in a way, like this movie is. This movie takes it to an extreme, like everything's extreme in this movie. But go ahead.
well, because I mean, I heard it went to Cannes, and I was expecting, and Mubi was putting it out. I thought it was going to be like artsy fartsy, but it was not. It was crazy. I had a blast with it. I mean, I like body horror in general, and I
Yeah.
like Demi Moore, and I like Demi Moore's body, and I like Margaret
So
Qualley's body. Like,
if you were in this movie, you would be Dennis Quaid.
I
So
would
let's.
be, I would be Dennis Quaid in this movie. I interviewed him literally right after, right after seeing The
Wow.
Substance for Reagan, and I was like, and I
You
said, "Oh,
interviewed him for Reagan?
I know, I kind of regretted it after a while, but then I
Dude,
spoke to
I
him.
wish I could have interviewed him for Reagan. That would have been fair though, because I thought that movie was trash, and and
I,
and,
I,
and I
I,
think
I,
Reagan's trash. So I would
I
have been the
he
wrong
probably
guy.
would still, he probably would have still been into it though. He's a pretty like fair guy, I think. But I mentioned to him I saw The Substance, and he started to laugh, and he was like, "Holy shit, what'd you think of that?" And I was like, "I just saw it." And he said it's quite the 1-2 punch, Reagan and The Substance.
No
Um,
kidding. So
he's
let's
man,
so let's sort of tell people what the substance.
him eating shrimp in that movie is the
That
most
scene is
disgusting
gross.
thing of all.
That scene is gross. Every scene in this movie is gross almost, except for anything with Margaret Qualley in it.
Yeah, and yeah.
But anyway, let's sort of tell people what the substance is about without giving away too much here. So Demi Moore plays what's her name? Was it Elizabeth Sparkle?
Elizabeth Sparkle.
Elizabeth Sparkle, a former Academy Award winning actress who becomes famous as a an aerobics instructor on
Like
a
a
TV
Jane
show.
Fonda,
Think about the
like a
Jane,
Jane
yeah, the
Fonda.
Jane Fonda type workouts, like workout videos. She has a show like that. She's famous for that. She's hitting 50, and apparently that's just too much for Dennis Quaid's character to handle. He's like the owner of the network. So he fires her on her birthday, her 50th birthday, after saying some pretty heinous stuff about women, by the way. And he
Oh, yeah,
goes
and he
looking
gives her
for
a Joy of French cooking book because I hear do this now.
right. So he goes looking for somebody to replace her. Sparkle learns about she becomes a candidate for this thing called the substance. She has no idea what it is. Neither do we at first. It's this rather sickly looking green fluid. It looks like mutagen from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
looks like. They're just
yeah, it
gonna
looks
turn it into
exactly
like
like
rock.
that. And basically, what this thing will do is you inject it, and it will produce a younger, more vital, more a perfect version of yourself. And this thing, I mean, like the movie opens with like a shot of an egg being injected with a substance, and then it immediately duplicates. So when Sparkle injects herself with this thing, she literally like cracks open like an egg and gives birth to Margaret Qualley, which is so goddamn stomach churning. I was like, oh man, this is so goddamn gross. But that's not even the remote. That's not even the thing that's even closely like
Oh, it's not even. It's just the tip of the ice. It gets so
right.
much
It's not even
than that.
close to how gross this thing gets. Um, there are rules to follow though. Like think like if you owned like a Mogwai, there are like all these rules to
1 week on, 1 week off.
1 week on, 1 week off. The person who's off is like in a catatonic state, basically. And if you cheat, you're basically stealing from the other person. Like you're stealing
Yeah,
from the other. So you have to live in this perfect balance, this perfect harmony for this whole thing to work. And of course, it doesn't work. Of course, it's not going to work when you got like a
yeah.
young,
Break goes
like
pretty quick.
right. It goes haywire pretty damn fast. And then things get really ugly, and this thing turns into like a Cronenberg movie slash a trauma film. It turns like into all sorts of it gets nutty
I'm
really
not gonna
fast.
lie. Demi starts to look a little rough.
Yeah, yeah, you might say that. Oh man, I went into this not knowing just how far this thing was going to go. I'm strong. I'm a strong guy. I don't get sick easy. This movie had my stomach in knots, and it's not just
Yeah,
like
I
the
was.
wildly over the
Yeah,
top stuff. It's a lot of the needle stuff and the cutting stuff. And that stuff, that's the stuff that gets me. Like I can handle
yeah,
all
me
the
too.
stuff, like all the top stuff, like the that requires all these sorts of prosthetics, the Cronenberg style stuff where people get mutated and all sorts of shit like that. I can handle that. It's the other stuff, the needle stuff. Like, oh God, that stuff was grossing me out. This movie had me doing
Yeah,
cartwheels, man. I was like, what the hell is happening here?
I was having my breakfast while I was watching it because I
Ah,
sometimes bring a little breakfast into the movie theater. It's
yeah.
early, and I was kind of like, I don't need to be eating this. I
But as
was
a
kind of like,
so
oh,
as a
that
as
egg
a
that,
as
that
a
egg sandwich ain't sitting quite right.
oh, I couldn't imagine. You know what? Was I eating something? No, I wasn't. It was another movie. I was eating something. It was at Wolf's. I was chowing down on something, but not this. I'm glad I wasn't eating anything during this. Um,
But all
as a commentary on on Hollywood's ridiculous beauty standards, how do you think the movie fares, though?
Oh, I think I very well. I mean, I think that it's one of those movies that, it's interesting that a woman directed a body horror movie. And it's funny because if you look at the next kind of great tradition of body horror that's come out, the last couple of really good ones have all been directed by women, such as Titan. I would say that was another really good one. And I think that they've got a handle on that a lot better than people do because their bodies are judged all the time, and it's pretty potent that it's Demi Moore because I remember when
Yeah,
she did Striptease and she got $12.5 million, and I remember the scrutiny over her body back in the 90s was crazy.
yeah,
Every time she had any amount of work done, people talked about it. Her breasts, everybody were always talking about whether they were real or not.
yeah.
There was
I mean, yeah,
when she got into crazy shape.
the 90s was the time of, Howard Stern literally lining up women in his studio and like yeah, putting a laser pointer to their trouble spots. Like that's
Yeah, yeah,
that's the
yeah.
era, that's the era that Demi Moore gained her fame in. And
And then you
it's the
remember
most
when
scrutinizing time.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, do you remember when she did G.I. Jane?
Oh
How
yeah.
much people were like going crazy over the fact that she got into shape and that she looked different, and it was everywhere at the time. Like it was. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I think she did benefit from it for a certain amount of time,
Of
right? I
course.
think
A lot of her
when she
movies were based around her sex appeal.
yeah, but I think that when she got a bit older, and she always looked amazing. That was the thing. She still looks
It looks
amazing.
amazing. That's the irony of the role is that
Yeah, it is the
she looks
irony of it.
great.
But people though, she did get discarded by Hollywood at a certain point though, around the year 2000. She could barely get arrested. She was barely in anything after a while. And it was so I get her acting in a movie like this is pretty potent, right? It would be like, if you were to do a movie about like an old action star gone to seed and you cast somebody like Schwarzenegger or something, like
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing. Like you need that kind of, it's an icon playing an iconic role, right? And I think it is pretty effective. And it's crazy because Margaret Qualley really does kind of look like Demi Moore did in St. Elmo's Fire, like from that era, right? Like
Kinda.
she does.
Kinda. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they didn't want to ask Rumor Willis to be in the movie, right? So I guess.
I mean, that would have been weird, but anyway, yeah.
But yeah, Demi Moore's casting is fantastic. Like you said, it's ironic because she's still absolutely gorgeous, which just
And
goes.
my mom is a fan of hers, and she's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see that movie, The Substance." Like, I don't think this is gonna be for you,
Yeah,
mom.
I'm trying to get some of my friends to see it this weekend,
Yeah,
and I'm like trying to obscure what it's about. So I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, yeah, it's got Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore is in it, and she plays an aging Hollywood actress who gets fired, and that's like all I said,
that
all
sounds
I said
nice.
about it.
Oh, that sounds like a tearjerker.
So, I know that
Not
sounds.
really.
Oh man, that sounds like my kind of movie. Yeah, great. Yeah,
And then
sure.
the last 20 minutes of the movie are like a psychedelic fever dream. Like, what is
Oh
even
no,
happening?
that's the only part I don't like. If I'm being
Yeah,
totally honest, because I was
yeah,
fully into the rest of the movie. I love the dynamic between between Elizabeth and her younger version named Sue. I love the way it's shot, where you've always kind of got Sue in the frame, like in that big billboard in the background. Elizabeth can't escape her no matter what she does. I kind of like the commentary on how we treat older people as well. How they it really some just don't have a life to live when they lose the thing that made them that gave them their drive when they were younger. What else are they supposed to do? And
yeah,
I love the commentary on younger people who are like Sue. Will risk everything. Will risk the entire future because she's young and it's not going to affect her. She doesn't think it will anyway. So she does what she wants to
yeah.
do. And let's be honest about one other thing. Margaret Qualley is goddamn stunning in this. Jesus Christ.
No, really?
Yeah, I know. I'm
No,
sure.
yeah,
I'm
I know.
sure you missed it. I'm sure you overlooked it.
I was watching
And
it
look,
like
and look, she's
I was watching.
she's shot for us to make that kind of comment. Let's be honest. She's shot to look.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we're two guys talking about how hot she is in the movie, but like,
Yeah,
she wasn't cast because she's not attractive. Like it's just kind of, like it doesn't.
right. And the director shoots her a certain kind of way to elicit the kind of reaction that
Yeah,
we are giving it right now.
exactly.
But no,
But then afterwards we feel guilty about it. We're like,
right.
well, yeah, I guess
She's
I guess we're part of the problem then, aren't we?
Yeah, no, we probably are. We almost certainly are. Yeah, but
We are.
she's
I would say
also she's
so.
also really good in this. I found it strange that her and Demi Moore have a lot of the same mannerisms, the same energy. They barely share time together on the screen, and
I mean, they're
but
great
you can
actresses, though.
see
They are.
they really are. But you can see how they you could see them as the same person, a younger and an older version of the same person. Like I said, which is really fantastic considering how they only spend a few minutes together in the
Yeah,
entire.
I kept thinking of when I saw Margaret Qualley, and I was like saying like she must have been watching like Saint Elmo's Fire, One Crazy Summer, Blame It on Rio.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, Blame It on Rio. That's a movie that I don't think would get remade nowadays.
No, definitely not.
Well,
I think
they did remake it in France.
that doesn't surprise me. Um,
Yeah, different there though.
right. No, I'm. This movie did well at Cannes, right? I'm trying to remember.
Very well, and it was a
That's when I
toast.
first started hearing about it. Did it win awards or anything?
It did, and it won and I know that at TIFF it won Midnight Madness. It was the number one Midnight Madness movie, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Not at all.
I
Not.
saw some good ones though at TIFF. Have you ever heard of Tim Robinson? I think you should leave guy.
I, I don't think so.
You would like the movie that he had at Midnight Madness with Paul Rudd. It's called Friendship. A24 bought it. They're going to put it
Okay.
out, I think, this year. That's going to be like the next big cult comedy, I think.
Okay.
And then there was another movie that was called Ick by Joseph Kahn, and it starred Brandon.
Joseph Kahn, like the
Cork.
bodied guy.
Yeah, embodied. So, and it's like a Night of the Creeps type thing, and it stars Brandon Routh.
What else
And
did Joseph do? He did
Brandon
stealth.
Routh is pretty
He
good
did
in it.
stealth.
Yeah, no, he did not Stealth. He did Bodied, and he did Detention, and he did Torque.
Detention. Torque is the movie I'm thinking of. Torque.
Yeah, Torque.
Right.
Yeah,
Torque. And
but
Detention is really good.
this is
Detention,
like
Detention is really good.
it's pretty cool. It's like so Brendan Routh plays this like washed up football player from like the early 2000s at his high school, and he's a science teacher, and the girl that he was in love with is played by Mina Suvari, and they both played themselves as teenagers in the beginning of the movie, and it's like a big satire of like early 2000s but
Yeah.
then mixed with like a monster movie. And Brandon Routh is actually really good in it. Like he's very funny in it.
Sweet. I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited for Middleburg coming up in a few weeks. We're gonna have some of those TIFF movies there. Saturday
Are
night.
you seeing Brutalist?
Saturday night will be there, so I'm really excited about that.
What'll be there?
Saturday night.
That's a really good one. And do you see? Are you seeing the Brutalist?
I don't know. I don't know if that's on the schedule yet. They haven't released the full schedule, so we'll see.
Yeah, the Brutalist.
If I'm going to see the Brutalist, it'll probably be the only movie I see that day. So we'll see.
The only movie that I saw that day at TIFF. I was supposed to go see something else afterwards, and after like 4 hours of that, I was like, "Fuck no, I need a break.
Yeah.
Need time to digest. It's a full meal."
Yeah. What do you think the prospects of The Substance though? Because I feel like this is going to be like I don't know what it's going to do like in its initial release or anything, but it seems like one of those movies is going to be a cult favorite that gets played.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll do well in limited release. Like, I think it'll be like a word of mouth thing. Like, people are going to go and it'll play for a while.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a huge money maker. I mean, it's a movie film, so it's going to go to streaming, but I think movie is going to handle it really well. Like, I feel like it's going to be playing in the art houses probably for months. They're probably not going to drop it on streaming until awards season. I feel like it's going to be one that's going to be around a lot in like the art house theaters, so that for the next couple months it'll always be playing somewhere and it'll do pretty well. And I think they'll give it a serious push during awards season, which they should, because I could see Demi Moore easily getting a Best Actress
It could
nomination
be a
for it.
surprise, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening.
Especially if you can convince people to not watch the last 20 minutes of the movie, which is terrible.
Even Qualley could theoretically get a supporting actress nomination, so who knows? But I think that Demi Moore would be
I feel like her role is, even though she's in it a lot, I still feel like her role is very, very thin.
Well, I mean, it's Demi Moore's movie. I mean, she'll get the nomination.
It's a movie for her.
I would laugh if Dennis Quaid got nominated for it, though. Being so completely insane in it.
I'd rather give him an award for this than for Reagan.
Might win a Razzie for Reagan.
I got so many goddamn emails about Reagan.
Yeah.
Because I shit on it really bad. So, of course, conservatives got really angry with me. I posted the one thing that one guy sent me because he sent me messages before. But, it's like, oh, libtard, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Good luck voting for Kamala. And I'm like, okay, I will. Thanks. I mean, what do you want me to
I think it's one of the few movies I ever saw that comes out in support of the blacklist.
It's a ridiculous wish fulfillment movie. It treats him like he's a goddamn superhero, and like he was literally by God,
like Jesus. God. But like Jesus, it's very religious. More so, probably than
Reagan. Everything they ignore or sidestep everything. Like
I feel like even Reagan, I feel like he would watch that movie and he'd be like, "Well, they're laying on a little thick."
I don't know about that.
Like
Iran Contra. I mean, just all this crap. It's like just get this crap out of here. And the thing is, I don't care that people. I replied to the guy. I was like, I'm glad you liked the movie, man. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I don't give a shit if Reagan fans like the Reagan movie. I would expect them to. He's like, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm like,
it's not like it's not.
Its fans are supposed to like it. That's who it's made for. I'm glad you like it, dude.
It's not like you're picketing the theater. People don't go in, not allowing them to go into the theater. It's like yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's all crazy, but whatever.
Anyway, everybody's so divided.
Reagan's got nothing on the substance. Dennis Quaid is better in the substance than he is in Reagan.
I love Dennis Quaid in the substance. Man, he was great in it. It was like I haven't watched Dennis Quaid that much.
I don't want to watch him eat shrimp again, but because that shit made me queasy too. But
I haven't liked Dennis Quaid that much since Great Balls of Fire. DOA.
Oh man, the substance is a lot of fun. I think people are gonna really have a good time with this one. Even the part of the movie that I don't like, I understand why other people will appreciate it, even if I didn't.
I liked it because I thought it just went completely insane, and I like that. It was like,
in some cases I do, but I felt like this one was walking a pretty good line of making its point and being gross, and being insightful, and then it was just like, fuck it, like at the end. So I was just kind of like,
But I have to say, for a movie that's 2.5 hours long, it flies by.
It definitely doesn't feel like it at all.
No,
doesn't feel like that long at all. Not even close. Oh man, The Substance. It opens in theaters on September 20th. So you're probably hearing this now. It might already be in theaters. You should definitely go and check it out.
Just like don't eat anything right before or
Oh,
right after.
no, don't eat anything. If you gotta,
Like, don't watch it on a plane. This is not a movie to watch on a plane, too. If you see it on a plane, I feel like that's a mistake.
no, don't do that either. If you got an issue with needles or birthing scenes or but just bodily fluids in general, yeah, you might want to
They're
just
all in there. They're all in there.
go in with go in with as empty of a stomach as you can find, and you'll be all right.
Like she didn't, this director, she didn't make a, like, she went hardcore. She went all the way on this movie. Like, it's not, she didn't leave anything out.
Yeah. And if you have a chance to see Revenge, you should go check that out too. It's a very, very cool feminist revenge movie. So
I've got it in one of the neon box sets, so I'd definitely watch it one night.
yeah, you should. All right, Chris, you got anything coming up that we need to know about?
Well, I just wrapped all my TIFF reviews. Excuse me, I got interviews with the Saturday Night cast coming out.
Nice.
Got interviews that I'm really excited about that aren't actually coming out until December because one of the movies I liked the most, the TIFF, was Better Man, the Robbie Williams biopic.
Yeah.
And
That's
and
good.
I did interviews with him and the director and stuff like that, and those were great. But that movie is crazy. That movie, like, I've been telling people the whole premise of the film, and people think I'm joking, making a bad joke, but it's Robbie Williams is played by a CGI chimpanzee in the movie. I'm not kidding.
I've heard about that. So I don't know
Yeah,
what to
and
think
it's
about
not,
it.
and
It
it works,
sounds
and it works, but
sounds
it's
like a dumb gimmick to me, but other people have said it's not.
but
So
it works really, really well. And the thing is, you watch it though, and it's like this CGI chimpanzee designed by Weta, you know, going around doing blow and like, and it's like this is like the best Planet of the Apes movie I ever saw. Like it's just like it's the craziest Planet of the Apes movie ever. Like Caesar gets really like coke, you know, like and it's and partying. It's like the
oh man.
craziest movie ever.
All right, my friend. Well, I hopefully we get a chance to hang out together soon. It's been too
Yeah,
long.
I hope maybe there'll be like a CCA trip for like Amelia Perez or something like that. We'll get to hang out.
It'd be nice. Or you come to the celebration of Black Cinema in December or something.
I hope so. If they pay my ticket, I'll come like they did last time. It was awesome. When Netflix did that thing, maybe they'll do an event for it for a piano lesson or something like
Yeah,
that. That'd be
maybe.
cool.
That'd be cool. We need to hang out sometime soon.
Because we got
All
to
right.
meet last time we met Wesley Snipes, fucking Tarantino. That was an
Yeah,
amazing night. That was
no,
crazy.
we need to do that again for sure.
Yeah.
And not bring any baggage with us. All right, my friend, this has been a lot of fun. We talked about The Substance. It is in theaters on September 20th. Go and check it out. That is Chris Bumbray at jobo.com. Check him out there as well. I'm Travis Thompson. You can find me every day at punchdrunkcritics.com. If you're in the DC area on Fridays and on WETA Around Town, that's every month. On Fridays on Channel 7 at noon. All right, everybody. We will see you again soon. Goodbye. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.